Welcome back. In the last video, we faked client-side routing and it worked okay, but there was some functionality that's pretty important that we didn't actually have access to. We weren't able to use. So we're going to turn to a tool called React Router to help us to do real client-side routing. So what does real client-side routing mean? It means that we'll have URLs in the URL bar that are actually mapped to the content on the page, but it's all done on the client side. So we can click a link and the URL bar will change to say /about, but we won't actually refresh the page. There's no request sent to the server. It's all happening in JavaScript. So there's code that's keeping the URL bar updated and also keeping our history updated so that we can move forwards and backwards. We can bookmark things. So here's an example of an application, a single page application that uses client-side routing. This is not, as far as I know, it's not a React app, but it's the same idea. So we have a bunch of links. These are all links. They're not actually links that take us somewhere else. But when I click on one of these color palettes, we'll actually be building our own version of this. Watch the URL bar. It does change. When I click back, the page is animating, but we're never refreshing. The page never actually, we never leave this page. We don't make new requests. So you can watch right there, nothing changes. But the URL bar changes, so I can bookmark this URL. I can also use the back button in the browser. And there's some JavaScript magic behind the scenes that's making this all work. Okay, so we're gonna work towards something like this, where we have these different pages and they're mapped to different URLs. And the way we'll do it is using React Router. I want to clear something up. There are many tools you can use for routing, for client-side routing, that work very nice. They play well with React. React Router is not some official tool. It's one of the most, if not the most popular, but on the documentation, you can see there are quite a few options that they link to, that they suggest. So I don't want to make it seem like React Router is built in as part of React. We have to install it, which we're about to do. It's its own tool, different set of developers, but it is very, very popular. So you can click here or just go to or Google React Router and you'll find the GitHub repo, and then the docs are hosted by React Training, which is the people who made React Router also do a lot of training and online courses. So it's on their website. And then to get to the docs, you click on web. Here we are. This is the documentation. All right, so to install it, we need to do npm install react-router-dom. So I'm working in the same application, npm install, and I'm going to save it to the dependencies. And then I need to do react-router-dom. And then I'll be back when it finishes. Okay, so once that finishes installing and you start the server back up, we now need to tell our application to use React Router. So we're going to import a component called browser router. There are different types of routers besides browser router, but we don't need to worry about them for now. We're going to be working with browser router. So we import it from React Router DOM, and this is in our index.js file. We wrap the entire app, the app component, in browser router. So let's do that now. I'm working in the same project as before. I moved all of the code that used to be here to a new file called fakerouting.js, just so you have access to it. But I wanted to keep this app file clean so we can actually do real routing. So we're going to go to index.js and we're going to import, and we want browser router from react-router-dom. Okay, so now we have access to that component, and we need to wrap our app component in the browser router. So you can do this in a separate variable. You can move this entire line. So just a moment, I'll type it out. Browser router, just like that. So browser router, put the app inside and then close it. Or we can move this to a variable and give it some name and then just pass the variable in. So this now enables routing on our application, but nothing is going to change right away. We then need to define the routes. We need to map the URL, so /dog, and then say when a user goes to /dog, we should see the dog component. Okay, so to define our first route, what I'm going to do is map the URL /dog, and when we visit that URL, I want us to see a dog component. Okay, so we already have the dog component. The next thing we need is to import the route component. So import route, which is coming once again from React Router DOM. Now I have access to the route component, and it looks like this: route, obviously, and then we pass in a path prop. And this path is going to be the URL that we want to map a component to. So /dog. And then I'm going to show you two ways of doing this. The first one, in this video, we can pass a prop called component, and we'll pass in dog. So this tells React Router when we visit /dog, we want to see the dog component in this div. So we'll save, come back over here. Right now I'm not on /dog, so I'm not seeing it. I just see whatever the background color is of the app or of the body. But if I go to /dog, there we go. Now most of the time users aren't going to be typing /dog or /anything. It will be from links, and we'll see how to create those links in a few videos. But for now, this is working. We have our first route. So in the next video, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other routes, different patterns, different things we can do, and some problems that arise. So that will be next.